Okay, making sure everything is good and set. Let me just adjust the screen a little bit. There we go. All right. Excuse me there. All right. I do apologize for any lag you might experience here. I do apologize for that. Any bit of lag, because apparently the thing is loading still. I don't know why. But hopefully you guys can hear me. And I'm going to double check on my YouTube thing here on my television. Make sure you guys can hear me. Make sure you guys can hear me. There we go. Okay, making sure. But yeah, welcome. Welcome to this Topics on My Mind for the 14th of May, 2024. I would have done this earlier, but I was eating some lunch, some noodle soup, if you will, chicken noodle soup, the cups, if you will, that they sell. As well as I wanted to wait till my mom called because I was planning to do this a little before 2, but again, like I said, I was getting lunch and stuff, and then of course my mom called, and I don't want to have any kind of interruptions, when she calls or anything, unless I'm doing a recorded version of this, and I could just pause and all that, and go forward after that. Anyway, yeah, welcome to the topics on my mind for, like I said, May 14th, 2024, and as the title says, I am back from my trip to the Midwest, my trip to Kansas, if you will, where I visited my dad. And I can tell you honestly, like I said in that little video I did where I sounded very tired and very out of it, I do apologize for that. But I wanted to get something out to you guys the day I got back or the night I got back or something like that. Um, but like I said in that video, we're probably not going to be taking Spirit Airlines, anymore going forward, due to the fact that basically coming back was a hindrance. Coming back was a hindrance, which it shouldn't have been, due to the fact that the airline, believe it or not, the airline decided that they were not going to. It's kind of complicated, and I'm sure some of you have dealt with this before. The airline basically said, they basically said on the day we were coming back that, oh, you can. They gave us basically like two options. They said, okay, option A, you three can go right, fly back home, but your luggage will stay behind, and we'll go out basically the next day. That's what they told us. Our luggage would go out, the next day and everything. And, you know, basically that's what they had planned. That was the plan. They wanted us to go out basically the day of our of our flight together, but instead leave our baggage behind, so it would be sent out the next night. And yeah, that didn't sit too well with my sister, my older sister, who had booked everything. That didn't sit too well with her. That didn't sit too well with me. That didn't sit too well with my sister's husband. Mainly because even if we did agree to go, that route, even if we did agree to go that route, I guarantee you right now, I would not hear the end of it from my mom. You know, I would not hear, the end of it from my mom. As soon as I got back. But yeah, that was one. That was one. That was one. That was one option they gave us. I'm just taking care of something right here. Um, but yeah, that was one option they gave us. to utilize. That's one option they gave us to utilize. And like I said, my mom wasn't too. My mom, honestly, to be honest with you, would not be too thrilled if we did that, and that's a fact. The other option, that my mom wouldn't be too thrilled with either, is leaving my sister behind, because that was the other option they gave us. Is, oh, you could go on your plane, you and your brother-in-law, but your sister would have to stay behind, since she's the one basically in charge of a lot of the things. And at first, she was like totally fine with that. But again, my brother-in-law and I were like, no, that's not going to happen. So, long story short, what we did, long story short, what we did is we basically rebooked our flight. Is what we did. We rebooked our flight so that we could all go out the next day, the next morning. So what happened, you might ask? Well, what happened is, instead of re-renting a car and going back to Manhattan and all that, we decided to stay in Kansas City. We waited at the airport for a little bit until my sister got a hotel booked for us, which was 5 minutes away from the Kansas City International Airport. So we did that. We rested a bit. Then we went and had some lunch or brunch, dinner, whatever you want to call it, at a place called the 54th Street in Kansas City, which is a restaurant and bar, a draft house, if you will. So we went and did that. We went and did that, and it was fun and everything. It was okay. And then we basically got back to the hotel, which was a Super 8 motel, a Super 8 motel there. We got back there, and we just rested for the rest of the night. Now, the benefit about actually staying the extra night is we actually had like an extra hour of sleep, because when we were supposed to go out, again, when we were supposed to go out, we were supposed to leave, like I said, we were supposed to leave basically on, on Friday. We were supposed to leave on Friday. And what happened instead, as I was mentioning, what happened instead is, we ended up staying behind by a day. And like I mentioned, we could have had one or two options happen. We could have, left our baggage there, which my mom wouldn't have been too thrilled about, and we wouldn't hear the end of it, not just from her, but from the rest of the family. Or we could have left my older sister there, and she could have flown out the next day. But again, same thing. Wouldn't have been able to hear the end of it. Didn't want to have to deal with that. So, yeah, we basically, rebooked the flight and everything. We rebooked the flight and everything for the following morning, which was this past Saturday. It was the same time and everything to fly out on, same time, but we just, rebooked it, for the next day, because we didn't want to make things too complicated whatsoever, going forward. And I do again apologize for any lag that you guys might be experiencing right now. According to YouTube, it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, so I do apologize for that. It might be because my computer is loading, and when it likes to load, it likes to slow things down and stuff. So I do apologize for that. I do apologize. It might even be the heat too, because it's been very warm, as of late, since we've been back. But anyway, like I said, we had one of those two options. Neither would have worked out. Period. Um, neither of those would have worked out. Period. If you will, when it comes to what was going on. Anyway, anyway, um, so we basically went through that, and that's what kind of caused my sister to be like, yeah, we're not taking Spirit Airlines anymore because of what happened. And what really kind of made her change her mind on that, not to take Spirit anymore, was due to the fact that when she had our flight rebooked for Saturday, she she had planned it to where all three of us would sit together. Well, on the flight initially, as we started boarding and everything, my sister noticed that she was in a different row, I was in a different row, and her husband was in a row, a couple of rows away from her. And it's like, wait a minute, that's not supposed to be how it was booked. But apparently, the people the day before, just decided, to do it that way or whatever, or well, they weren't paying attention. It was early, obviously, but they weren't paying attention. So, anyway, to get to the point, we waited till everybody had boarded. I waited till the people that next to me boarded. My brother-in-law waited till the people that sat next to him boarded, and my sister waited for anybody that sit next to her to board. Nobody did. So after every passenger had boarded, and we pretty much, I guess in their own unique way, got the okay. Myself and my brother-in-law, well, my brother-in-law, then myself, moved a row back or forward, if you will, to be with my sister because that's how she originally planned it. And that right there, basically ticked her off and been, to the point that she's like, yeah, we're not taking Spirit anymore. And then what's crazy is we go to Las Vegas and we're on the flight back from Vegas to here. We do finally get seated like we were on the way from Sacramento to Vegas, from Vegas to Kansas City. So yeah, going back was not, not well. It was all right. It's just that it could have been more. It could have been done more. I guess you could say professionally. We'll put it that way, more professionally, because again, the the Spirit airline people told us we were late by at least what 5-10 minutes to basically log in our baggage, get our baggage checked in, and it's like they just couldn't make the exception. Only late by 5-10 minutes, they couldn't make the exception. So yeah, it was not very it was not basically a very ideal situation, if you will. Was not ideal whatsoever. I'm trying to see something right there. Hmm. Wonder what wonder what that is right there. Oh, it's this. It's my blanket back there. But anyway, it just was not ideal. So anyway, like I said, we spent the day in at the 54th Street, and if I have an image of it, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up here. I don't think I have an image, but let me see if I can pull it up. If I have an image, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll show you what I'm talking about. If not, I got my phone, my new phone. I'll show you that in a moment. That has it on there. Let me see if I have an image here. I can show you. No, I don't. I don't have no image there. I have it in documents. No, I don't have it in documents. Hmm. Hold on. I'll show you what I mean. Let me get my new phone, if you will, my new phone. I got this phone basically the day we were leaving, and long story short, my sister, she's trying to help out. She has her own unique way of, motivating and trying to help out and everything, and she's trying to help me and my mom rebundle our rebundle our services so that we could have the phone, as part of it. Basically, get a new phone along with the new service. But here's the thing. I want to lay this out straight, okay? Excuse me there. I want to lay this out straight. I was always planning to get a new phone before the trip happened, okay? I was always planning to get a new phone. The reason, mainly, if I can just turn around here carefully without, ruining anything. The reason mainly is because my original phone, which still works, had this. Yeah, it had a crack in it. You can see the damage right here, and it has like little cracks right there as well. I don't know if you can really see them. In fact, let me turn on the flashlight here on the new one. Let me turn that on real quickly. But you can kind of see like the little cracks and everything. Let me turn. Yeah, you see the little cracks right there. Now, again, it still worked and all that, but it's like, I was planning for a while when I found out I was going to be going. Okay, once I get my EDD in and all that, um, I'm going to get a new phone. I'm going to get something new for the trip. And you know, I understand what my sister's saying about get rebundle your package and you'll get a free phone and all that. No problem. Just pay for the shipping and everything and the taxes, and that's cool. That's not a problem. But here's the thing. What my sister doesn't understand. Yeah, me and my mom have a lot of channels. Some we watch and some we don't. But here's the thing. Even if we take off certain channels like premium ones, you know, there's going to be stuff that my mom might, she'll scroll and she'll see something like, let's say, on Stars or HBO that'll catch her eye, and she'll be like, "Oh, I want to see that." But then when she goes to tune into it, she's got to, basically resubscribe to that package. Now, yeah, we could do that and everything, no, not a problem. But the thing is, why go through all that hassle? And my sister was going through a hassle just trying to help me. I mean, I was doing it, I thought, correctly a couple of days ago while we were resting. And she's like, "Nope, you're not doing it correctly. Let me do it." And she tried, and all she got was the runaround. All she got was the runaround. And it was like, what is going on here, right? What is going on? So all she was doing was getting the runaround, not like she had done before. So long story short, she's still trying to help us out, and I think as soon as we get the bill down a little bit, we'll be fine. But also, I think mainly, she was drinking a little bit. One thing I noticed on the trip is my sister, she loves her Chardonnay. She loves her wine, Chardonnay wine. And what I mean by that is she will basically, I don't know if I have anything here that gives you an example, but let's say this is a wine glass, right? Let's combine this a little bit. Like, let's merge this. Let's say this is kind of a wine glass. Let's say this is a wine glass, okay? Let me see if I can do it in a way that makes it more, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Trying to give you an example here, okay? Okay. So, let's say this is a wine glass, okay? She likes to get Chardonnay filled up to almost the top, almost the very top. And the reason she does that is mainly she's got a lot going on. I don't want to, discuss too much about it, but she's got a lot going on personally. And basically, it lets her, as I told my dad, because I sat next to my dad in the car we rented, and I told him, yeah, I have to apologize for the way she's acting. And he's like, "Ah, don't worry about it." I said, "I know, she's just letting loose. She's just letting loose." And to me, that's all I needed to hear, because that pretty much, simplifies what's going on with her. The reason she drinks her Chardonnay is she's letting loose. It's like if she doesn't drink it, she's gonna keep everything bundled up inside, and she's just gonna, let it really all come out. Just really let it all come out when she gets the opportunity. And it seems I'm back on track with the video, so I apologize for lagging. But she's just gonna let it. She'll just have it all bundled inside, and then eventually, boom, she's just gonna let it all out. So she needs the wine to calm her nerves. Because again, she's dealing with a lot of other stuff outside of helping my dad. But that's one thing I've noticed. And she when she lets loose, she'll basically tell it like it is. She'll let it be known. This is how she really feels, and she doesn't give a damn. you know. And I think that's the same for a lot of us when we consume a lot of alcohol. Especially stuff like white Chardonnay wine. We start letting it affect our emotions, our thought process, and we just say, "Hey, we're just like, hey, if this is gonna let loose and just, not give a damn and just vent, the way I want to vent, then so be it." And that's what she does. That's what she does. And I don't blame her, especially, again, with some of the things she's dealing with. And again, I'm not going to say too much. I don't blame her. because I saw the same with my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law, he likes to drink too. He likes to drink too, but it affects him just a little bit more than my sister, to the point that one time, I think on the last night we were there at the Super 8, I think I think it was the Super 8, or I think it was the Super 8 or the Best Restaurant. I don't know which one it was, but he was like this on the chair after he drank some you know Blue Moon and stuff. He was like this on the chair, completely out, and I'm on the bed. I'm like on the bed. And what he decides to do is flick a small empty fireball shot bottle right at me, and it hit me, right here in the midsection. Didn't hurt me, but he also decided to flick some ice at me too. Now my sister did get a laugh out of the ice part, but as well as maybe a little bit of a laugh out of the empty bottle one. But that the empty bottle one kind of irritated her as well. And one thing she did tell me and my brother-in-law, her husband, on Thursday night, which was supposed to be the last official night we'd be in Kansas, and we were supposed to be back on Friday. What she told me and my brother-in-law is, hey, take a shower, take the showers, so that we can get up, and go. So that night we all did that. Her, my brother-in-law, and me. We all did that separately. But then on Friday, because we had to stay that extra day, he gets it, and I'm sure a lot of you have someone like this in your family. Well, when they do drink, a lot or enough to become, I guess you could say, they're still coherent, but they're more like, screw it, kind of deal. That's kind of like how he was, especially when she once again said, hey, take the shower so we can get out of here. Even though we were 5 minutes away. And he's like, oh, I don't have to take a shower, do it in the morning. So, yeah. It was one of those situations. Now, of course, it didn't help that I also was getting over a bit of an allergy cough, if you will. And I had to take the equate version of Robitussin, to help out, as well as the equate version of, I guess you could say, Mucinex, but pill-wise, hard pill-wise. Basically, these things were like this big. They would call it equate mucus relief. And they did help out. But what kind of got on my sister's nerves a little bit is I always had to, in her mind, which is not true, because again, she likes to, even at home, she likes to have her wine. I was going to the restroom 30 plus times. And that's not the truth. And that's not true or anything. I would go mainly because, one, when I eat, of course, like any of us, it goes through you, and if it's greasy or something like that, you got to go. So, for me, I looked this up online weeks before we left when I was taking the Dayquil, and I find out that the effects of any medicine that's relieving you of mucus, coughs, or whatever have an effect on your bowels. And long story short, it makes you go. So what it did for me is it made me want to go like an hour after I took it, and mostly it was, I'll just put it this way, in liquid form, and that's all I'm going to say. It was in liquid form, and I had to go. But the benefit is when we were at the Best Western in Manhattan, Kansas, we basically had the benefit of two bathrooms. My sister told me of one down the hall because she told me she had to use it one time when she went with my niece the first time. And I went down and used that many times as I could because I didn't want to, as she puts it, stink up the bathroom we had in the room we were sharing. So yeah, I did that. But then when it came to the Super 8, we didn't have that benefit, and I had to use the bathroom and I had to use the bathroom in the hotel room. So that was unfortunate. It was unfortunate, I guess, in my sister's mind that she had to share the bathroom with two guys that were going to stink it up bad. So that's what happened there. That's what happened there. But yeah, basically, she, like I said, when she likes to have a wine and everything, She just lets loose, and I'm not innocent either because when I have a little bit more than I should, yeah, it might make me sick, and I have to regurgitate it later on. But I also will be the kind of let loose and just not give a damn, if you will. And I think that's true for a lot of us when we get that way. But anyway, but anyway, outside of that, we had a good visit. There's no denying that. And oh yeah, I was going to show you the place that we stayed at, if you guys can see it. Well, not stayed at, but ate at when we had to stay the extra day. If I can bring it up here on my photos. Let me see. I think it. Excuse me. Still getting over it a little bit. But this is where we ate the day we were supposed to leave, but ended up staying. I don't know if you guys could see this very well. But this is the 54th Street Restaurant Draft House, if you will. That's the name of it. That's the name of it, if you will. The 54th Draft House, right there. I don't know if any of you watching this in the Midwest have been there in Kansas City, but that's where we were eating, and very surprisingly, they had plenty of variety when it comes to drinks. There is no doubt about that. But I'm sure that's the same for a lot of places like that. So, in fact, let me turn down the light a little bit here so you guys could see better. I don't know if that'll help. But yeah, that's kind of what they had on tap if you wanted your variety there. So, and this was the menu for it. I don't know if you guys can really read that menu. It's kind of all white, so I do apologize for that. And then, of course, we tried to see the Aurora Borealis, the northern lights, if you will, as best we could when we stayed. But it was a lot harder than we thought. But we did I think I did the best I could on this. And then, of course, that's a flight back right there. So I think that's when we're about to, excuse me, land in Vegas. And that's the inside the plane. So yeah. I tried to get some good pictures. I was basically in what they call the C section, 17C, if you will. I was in 17C next to the aisle. So I guess if I had to go use the restroom, there we go. I think you can see it. If I had to use the restroom, I would, be able to do that. Now, Now, when we landed in Las Vegas, and I put this on YouTube as part of the title, I said I know this may sound stupid, but because I had not been in Vegas for so long, I had no idea that the airport was right next to the strip, because you could see everything from the airport, and I mean everything, like there. Like you see the spear right there, and I took a picture of it a couple of times. You can see the spear and everything connected to it as well. So again, I had not been there in a long time, so I didn't know, or I had forgotten. And there's the MGM Grand, where AEW Double or Nothing's going to be. I had no idea that it was close to everything. Had no idea. And then there's the Legion Stadium right there, where WrestleMania 41 is going to be. So yeah, I had no idea it was next to a lot of stuff. Had no idea. So it was so cool. And then there's the Mandalay Bay where my sister and my brother-in-law have been. And then there's one of the Spirit Airlines. That's not the one we took. We took the regular yellow one, if you will. In fact, there it is right there. That's the one we were boarding. And believe it or not, I don't know if you could see it. We still had snow in the mountains on the way back here. That's what I noticed. I was like, oh, we got some snow in here. And then that's of course inside Sacramento Airport as soon as when we got back. But yeah, I was kind of surprised we had snow in the mountains here. And but yeah, overall, outside of that, we had outside of some of the negativity and everything, we had a pretty good day, a pretty good visit with my dad. She said, that's my drink, and then that's my drink right here, and then that's a Bud Light, and then over here is my sister's drink. That's her Chardonnay wine. You can see what I mean when I talk about she likes to have it up to this point, if you will. But yeah, we had a good visit with him and everything. Had a good visit and all that, which was pretty cool. And then this, of course, is Manhattan. They had like a little Manhattan name, put the name Manhattan in the heels there. So, and that's another shot of it as well. It was neat, and it was actually decent weather, because there was storms and everything beforehand, but it ended up being very decent weather for us when we were there. So, and then that's one of the places we stopped at on the last full day we had with him, Prairie Band Casino, outside of Topeka, close to Holton, Topeka, Kansas, Holton, Kansas. You know, so that's where we went. And what was surprising about it is I'd been there before when I lived out there in Kansas, and I was kind of shocked by this a little bit. I was shocked a little bit. I don't know if you can see. There we go. I was kind of shocked by this, but when you go to get like a member, like a rewards card or a members card, if you will, for to have play there and everything, or to do play, at that place, and that's some of the stuff they had there to do some playing and everything. And this is one of these sports. That's a kiosk right there. That's a betting kiosk, believe it or not, for you guys to bet on games and everything. I mean, and that's what it was. It was the Prairie Band Sports Book, Prairie Band Sports Book pub, if you will, where we had some lunch. But yeah, anyway, getting back to what I was saying, you know how you go into casinos, whether they're in Vegas or Atlantic City or wherever, whatever is close to you. You know how you have to like have a members card or something like that or whatever to, get redeemed points and everything, for future perks and everything and all that. Well, my dad and I had not been there in a long time. My dad not for the past several years, but he's still was a member. They still had him in the system. All he had to do was change his address, and all he had to do was keep his regular passcode. Well, for me, I had not been there since about, God, what was that, like the mid 2000s or something like that? Early mid 2000s. And I'm thinking, okay, they probably don't know about me anymore. I'm out of the system. Well, surprise, surprise, I'm not out of the system. Nope. All I did was I gave him my license, my state ID, and I was going to fill out one of the forms, and they're like, oh, wait, 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 you're in the system. And I'm like, really? And they said, yeah, 2020. And they told me my address, my previous address, when I lived in Lawrence, 2024 Melrose Lane, Lawrence, Kansas. I was like, yep, that's me. Brian, and they're like, Brian Walmart? I say, yep. And lo and behold, I ended up getting, without having to fill out the form like my sister and my brother-in-law had to, I ended up getting this. So when I go back there again next month, maybe I'll be able to just use that. And then, of course, as usual, I like to take me and my family always end up taking something from the hotel, whether it's little shampoos or even towels, if you will, or whatever. Well, I ended up taking not one. Let me see, do I got the other one in here? Let me see. Let me see if I got the other one. Yep, I got the other one. Ended up taking not one, but both Best Western key cards. Yeah, it's unbelievable, huh? Now you might say that's. Now you might ask yourself, why do you have those? And it's souvenirs, is what they are. They're souvenirs. Mainly, mainly it's just souvenirs of where you stayed and all that. They can't really do anything, honestly, because once your stay's over, these are deactivated. I mean, why do you think they have that little thing on the in the lobby when you tune them in? You think they just you think they're just going to take them out and reset them? No, they deactivate them. They deactivate them and they shred them. That's what they do. So it's not a big deal to me, honestly. It's not a big deal to me and I don't think it's a big deal to them, because they can always do more. They can always do more, and they know it. They know they can always do more. But anyway, like I said, we went to the Prairie Band Casino, and we had fun there. We had some fun there, and I spent some money, won some, lost it back, and everything. My sister spent some money, won some, lost it back. My what is it? My father. I'm trying to think. I'm doing something here as well. I'm trying to put this on the FB as well. Link it on the FB without certain people seeing. Um, but my father also played some money, lost some. Played some money, lost some. And let me make sure certain people are off, if you will. Okay, that's what I want to make sure of. But like I said, my dad played some money on the slots and everything, lost some. My brother-in-law, he likes to gamble. He likes to do the tables. So, he did the tables. He did some tables. Won some, lost some, if you will. So, yeah, we had a good time there and everything. We had a good time. And, again, we'll probably go back down the line next month for Father's Day. It will probably, I'm trying to find the right word to say here, probably be just me and my sister going this time. Maybe somebody went go with us. Maybe my niece, maybe my middle sibling, second older sister. We'll see. Maybe her family will join us down there. We'll just go separately. Who knows? Um, but anyway, like I said, we had a decent time. With him, we had a decent time. But I am going to say this about red eyes: they too take a lot out of you, because when we flew out at a little after 9:47 on Monday, got there a little around 5:15. We went and got our baggage, and then we went to. Well, his and again, here's what kind of made my sister not want to take Spirit anymore. Long story short, you know, when we arrived there, she had thought that she had put my luggage that she was letting me have or borrow. She thought she'd put my luggage on for carry on. She thought she'd marked it for carry on, and that wasn't the case. So both of them, both of them had to both of them had to basically do the transport. Basically, they had to be transported from one plane to the other as part of cargo. So we didn't have any. Hold on for a sec. Let me check something. Sorry about that. Thought the maintenance people were here and everything. Thought the maintenance people were here. They're supposed to come and fix our water faucet outside, the one that we connect the hose to, and the one that allows us to use the automatic sprinklers to water the grass. Apparently, it's not working right because of the fact that the hard water and the rain we've had recently kind of made it rust up a little bit or something like that. So hopefully they'll be sending somebody soon. But anyway, like I was saying, when we were flying out from Sacramento to Vegas, then to Kansas City, my sister thought, wait a minute, I thought I put you as a carry-on luggage, but that wasn't the case. So yeah, that kind of didn't help, in the progress, if you will, of her not wanting to go and use Spirit anymore. And even my niece, who flew Spirit with her the first time we went to see my dad, her and my sister, even my niece is like, yeah, Spirit is. I'll put it. I don't know if I could say the word here on YouTube, but she said it is the G word, if you will, the GHE word, if you know what I mean. But anyway, she said it was that, and she doesn't want to fly it anymore because when they flew it, they had them separate as well. I think coming back from Kansas to California. Anyway, though, like I said, we took the red eye, we rested a bit, got to Vegas, had something to eat. I bought some. What's funny is I bought some Sony headphones for $10 at one of those places. And what happened is they got tangled up, and it was only $10. But for $10, these worked, but they were cheap ass as well. And what I mean by cheap ass, excuse my language, God, is they got tangled up real easily to the point that I couldn't untangle them. I couldn't. I couldn't untangle them, no matter what. I couldn't do it. And it got to the point that when I finally tried to use them, they broke. So I had to throw them out when we got back to Vegas coming back here. Anyway, what was also interesting is we stopped at one of those eateries they have there, one of those little restaurants they have there for you to eat, kind of refuel and everything before you board your flight. And what's crazy is I left my boarding pass there. Thankfully, I had the Spirit app on my phone, which also had my boarding pass, so I was able to use that. But yeah, it was kind of crazy and everything. But we got on the flight, from Vegas to Kansas City, and we were okay. Then, when we got to Kansas, we had trouble renting a car. Yeah, had trouble renting a car, if you could believe it. Yeah, because here's what's funny. So my sister goes with budget, right? And everything seems to be okay, but then the guy basically takes her card. let me put it like this, takes her card, if you will, and runs it before she could double check whether or not she has enough on there. And she has enough, but not enough. Like she has to add on another 50, $40, right? But he does this, and he doesn't wait for her to double check, right? So that causes her to have to go from using budget to national. She has to go and use national. Thankfully, they're more understanding of the situation, and the car we got out of it was a 2024 Nissan, which I thought was really nice. It had Sirius XM radio on it. It was kind of computerized and all that. Had the rear view camera, so you could see, from when you're driving, what's in the back of you. So it had all the amenities, which I thought was good. And it was good enough for my dad. It was good enough for my dad, so he could get out easier than he had previously, I guess. So anyway, like I said, we did that. We drove from Kansas City into Topeka, past Lawrence, and into Wamego, towards Wamego, if you will. And we stopped at the plaza on Flint Hills, which is near Wamego. Got something to eat there, or at least to snack on. Then we drove from there to Manhattan, and instead of going to see my dad straight up, we decided to check in at the hotel, which thankfully they allowed us to check in early, and we rested up a bit, rested up for about a couple of hours. Then we went and saw him. We went to go see him and everything, and I was happy to see him and all that, just glad to see him. And yeah, my computer is telling me some ads will run shortly for some of you guys in just about 50 seconds. So I do apologize for that. Um, and let me see if I can skip. It says skip ads if I want to skip ads. But if I'm monetizing this, I want to try to have some money going in. So I do apologize for the ads, guys. I do apologize for the ads. Um, But yeah, we went and saw him. I was glad to see him. We went out to eat to a place called Frida's. It's a Mexican restaurant in Manhattan. And then the next day, we went and we waited for my dad. He had an appointment that day. So we waited for him to come back. So we went to the Manhattan Town Center, which is a mall, and we shopped around there for ourselves, for him, for my mom, my niece, and all that. And I will tell you the rest after these ads show up for you. Okay. I do apologize for that. Let me double check on my thing here, my thing as well, to see what that's going to look like. So hold on for a sec. Sorry, my okay. All right, guys. I do apologize if you're going to retreat. Basically, to kind of recap, in case you guys got interrupted by the ads, whether you skipped them or not. Like I said, we went and saw my dad, rested up a little bit at the Best Western, and then went and saw my dad, took him out to lunch at this place called Frida's, and afterwards, took him back. We rested up again, rested up real well, and then the next day we went to the Manhattan Town Center, which is a mall. In Well, actually, we went to actually, what we did with my dad the first day is we went to Frida's, then we went to a Walmart because he wanted to get a charger for his phone, and he got me some pants, and he, let my sister get some stuff for herself and everything. And then what we did as well, because I guess they don't let them do this, what we also did as well is he wanted to get some liquor, and there was this place called McMillan's. So we went to McMillan's, and we got him, or they got him, a little 6 pack of Jack Daniel shots. Those little 6 packs of Daniels. And so we drank a few shots and everything before we took him back. And then what we did is basically we took a bag, paper bag, wrapped up what he was taking, with him, hid it in his purple bag, and took him back to his room. Anyway, after that, like I said, went back to the hotel, rested a little bit. Um, really rested, I should say. Had something to drink and all that. Rested. Had a little bit more food, and then the next day, we got up. My dad was at an appointment in Topeka, so we wait for him to come back. And I just scratched my beard there, dude. I just scratched my beard here too, so I do apologize. But we waited for him to come back, and so what we did during that time is we went to the town center. Oh, well, actually, we went to Ross first, which is like a walking step away from the hotel. Got a few items there, mostly Mother's Day gifts and some gifts for my great niece. Then we went from there to the Manhattan Town Center, where we did a little shopping, and I got myself some T-shirts. I don't know if I think they're on my phone. I think I took some pictures. I can show you here on my phone. But we went there. We went to a couple of places. Went to Hot Topic. Didn't get nothing there, but we went into the one across from it, Spencer's. And Spencer's had some very unique items. I will say that it did have some unique items. I don't know if I have the images of what I bought here, so I think I have them on my Facebook page. Hold on. But yeah, we went to Spencer's, which was right across from where from where Hot Topic was at the Manhattan Town Center Mall. So we went there. Hold on, trying to find it here. Here you go. So yeah, we went. Like I said, we went to Spencer's, and these are the items that I got myself right there. These are some of the items I got myself right there. I don't know if you can see. Oh, it's been dark. I do apologize. But those are some of the items I got myself. The book here, the Civil War book here that I brought up close, bringing the picture up close here. The Civil War book I got from my dad because he likes Civil War. And in this book right here, the Kathy Lee Gifford one I got from my mom. And then the one in the middle, of course, I wanted to get, and I figured I'm there, I might as well get it. Um, the one in the middle is Becky Lynch's book, The Man. And if you want any proof of that, here it is. So yeah, I got Becky Lynch's The Man autobiography. I got that, and so I'm adding that to my wrestling book collection. And just in case anybody's wondering, okay, does this mean she's going to be leaving and all that? No. I think honestly, when word doesn't get around that somebody hasn't re-signed or anything, or the contract's expiring, you know, there's a good chance they've re-signed. It's just that the company doesn't want it to, get out just yet and everything. So yeah, I ended up getting this for myself, along with the T-shirts. I do apologize for that. My mic got my little mic thing, the volume here, got a little stuck. So I do apologize. But yeah, I got that for myself when I was out there, and like I said, I got my mom the Kathy Lee Gifford thing as well. And I also got her, with some help from my older sister. I ended up getting her a Minnie Mouse necklace, and from Ross, as well as some true value earrings, if you will, that excuse me, that she can use. Um, but anyway, that's what we did on the second day, and then we did pick him up, and we went to Chili's as well. So we went to Chili's, and one thing I've learned about my brother-in-law, my older sister's husband, and obviously his son, their son is taking after him in this, is if you leave food out, even if you take it to go, he's gonna probably eat it. Yeah, I'm sure some of you have someone like that in your family to where you're like, okay, don't touch my food. I'm saving it for later. Next thing you know, it's gone. Well, I ended up ordering again. Let me bring my phone out here. We went to Chili's, like I say, that next day, and I think I have it in my gallery here. Or do I? No, I don't. Have to go back to my Facebook. But anyway, this is what I ordered at Chili's the next day. So that was my meal, and I only ate about the fries and the little tacos or whatever they were right here. Didn't get the corn or the ribs or the bread. And what happened is, of course, again, or like I've mentioned previously, my brother-in-law had a little too much, and he's like, bro, I'm gonna probably eat your stuff, and everything, because I was taking the ribs and the corn to go. And well, sure enough, he does that. I'm resting on my bed in the hotel room. I wake up and he says, "Yeah, I ate your stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Oh well, what are you gonna do?" And again, it's not the first time he's done this. He's done it to my sister, his own wife. He's done it to his stepdaughter, my niece. And everything when we were um, where were we? Richmond or wherever we were for my nephew's wedding last year. He did it then, because what happened is my niece's fiance got her some chicken tenders, from Raising Cane's, and there was a Raising Cane's near where we were staying. But anyway, he was getting some, what I'm trying to say is there was a Raising Cane's next to the hotel Best Western in Manhattan where we were staying, as well as there was a Raising Cane's close to the hotel where we were staying last July for my nephew's wedding. Anyway, long story short, long story short, my niece tells me, and when she told me, I was like, oh yeah, I do remember that. He basically, her fiance basically got her some chicken tenders and stuff from, you know, from, um, from Raising Cane's, and they were sharing a room. It was like two rooms, but sharing one room, if you will. It's like, okay, if you want to know what I mean, it's like, okay, here's one side is one bed, and then on the other side of the wall is the other bed. Kind of two rooms in one. But anyway, they were sharing a room, but they only had like one fridge and all that. Don't know why. They had separate bathrooms and everything, but just one fridge. So what happens is, like I was saying, my niece's fiance ends up getting her some Raising Cane's because she didn't eat too well at the reception. Her chicken was kind of raw and everything. So she ends up getting some chicken tenders from her fiance. Her fiance goes and gets that for her. And she only ends up having one chicken tender or two. And the rest, when she went to go get some more, were gone. And she asked him what happened. He's like, I don't know. And the end result is they basically figure out, well, if he didn't eat it, her fiance, then who did? And it just comes to the conclusion, oh, her stepfather did. And it's like you can't keep food around someone like him because if he gets tempted, he will eat it. So basically, if you have somebody like that in your family, no offense, make sure you keep your food to yourself. You find a way to keep it away from this individual, or else you're going to lose it, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that's what happened, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then the next day, we go to Topeka the last full day with him, we go to Topeka because he has an appointment there for his hip, which thankfully he doesn't need surgery on. But the other reason he doesn't need surgery is because of his age, and it's deteriorated to the point that they don't want to risk a possible infection if they do the surgery. So he has his walking boots. He has his walking boots, which one is bigger than the other. One is bigger than the other. In fact, I'll show you that right now if I can. Hold on for a second. Let me bring that up if I can. But yeah, one shoe is bigger than the other, and meant to help him walk right again. Let me see if I got it here. Doo, doo, doo. Hold on. I know I have it here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. I wonder who that is. All right, hold on for a sec. It's my mom. I'll be right back. Hello? 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 Sorry about that. That was my mom telling me she's coming. She's leaving work now, which is about 4:38. Takes about an hour or so to get back, depending on traffic. So she's telling me to set up her laptop in just a little bit. So if I take another break, guys, I do apologize. But anyway, as I was trying to say, and let me make sure the mic's adjusted. Yeah, it is. What I was trying to say is he has these walking boots now. He has to use. He has to wear, and that's what they look like right there. As you can tell, one is bigger than the other. This one right here is where it's going to be used by the leg where his broken hips at. Again, so he can use it. So basically, he's going to use those to walk better and walk more normal and everything and all that. The other thing we found out as well is my mom's former job when she used to live out there, or we used to live out there long ago, which was a Dillon's, is now a DMV. And she was kind of surprised by that because she's like, that's a big place, you know. Anyway, anyway, what was I trying to say? Oh yeah. Anyway, we spent that day in Topeka, with him, and that's when we went to Prairie Band Casino, to just have a little fun, let him gamble a bit, and go from there. Um, but after that, we took him back. Again, just like we did the previous 2 days, got him some Jack Daniels to take with him. Hide it, if you will. And we just, said our farewells, thinking we're going to go back on Friday. And of course, as I've mentioned to you, that didn't happen the way we were hoping because, again, it was either one or two options. It was either, my sister stays behind and me and my brother in law go, I guess, with the luggage. Or, well, actually, my sister stays behind with the luggage and me and my brother in law go, or we all three of us, or option B, all three of us go and the luggage stays behind until it gets sent later. And we weren't taking that chance either way. So, yeah, kind of crazy. And it's going to lead to the fact that me and my sister might take Southwest on the next trip next month to see my dad. Excuse me. Um, excuse me. Anyway, that's what happened coming back. And I will say I had a few mishaps as well. I guess I need to follow directions a little bit better because one thing about phones, and I think what we all learn from them, is new or not, if you're doing something on there, you got to pay more attention your surroundings, and that's kind of what happened to me. You know, needed to pay more attention. That was kind of my fault. So, lesson learned: when you're in the airports or wherever, pay attention off the phone, just like when you're driving, if you know what I mean. Anyway, anyway, that's what we did, and that's all I can really say as of right now, as far as seeing my dad and coming back and all that. So it was pretty cool, but one of those trips that was good, but you're gonna have your issues here and there. Now, with that said, I will be right back, guys. I'm going to set up my mom's laptop because she has to take care of a few things when she comes back. But when I come back, we're going to get on to the topic. So be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. Now, let's get down to the topics. Let's get down to the topics. They are right here. These are the topics that we're going to be discussing. So, first topic that we will discuss, these are the topics. I'm going to read them off and then we're going to start with them. First topic we will discuss MeTV Toons coming June 25th. I've talked about that before. I'll give more insight on that. Number two, physical media will not die, and I'll tell you why. Number three, I've talked about this before. First episodes of Transformers G1 to hit theaters tomorrow. To hit theaters this Saturday as well as this Sunday. So I'll talk about that. Then number four, the NBA returning to NBC in the fall, and what could it mean for AEW? Number five, X-Men 97 season finale, and why I stick by what I said before, which is a previous video I will probably put at the end of this live stream. And then Sonic Satayam is trending on Twitter/X.com, but why, and could it be good news? So, with that said, let's get into our first topic. MeTV Toons coming June 25th. Now, I've talked about this before, but basically it was announced that Raggle, I think that's what it's called, Raggle Broadcasting Corporation, WBC, has made a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery as well as other outlets like Walter Lantz Productions, Universal, United Artists, Columbia, Flesher, Paramount, any non-Disney studio that they can make an agreement with. Rago Broadcasting Corporation, the people behind MeTV and other, MeTV related over-the-air stations, digital stations um, like Start, Heroes and Icons, you name it. MeTV is going. They are going to create MeTV Toons. This is based on the success they've had with a weekday morning show called Tune In With Me, as well as their 2 hour Saturday morning block, 2 hour, 3 hour Saturday morning block of Bugs Bunny and Friends, followed by Popeye and Friends. Now they're going to capitalize on that and give us, an over the air 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week cartoon animation station. Now they've made it, perfectly clear, according to a lot of reports, that they do not intend to create their own original animated programming. That they're going to stick with the classic tunes they are promising. That the only things they're going to do, is the cartoon college thing that they're going to do. Basically, it's going to be programs dedicated to the history of classic tunes, kind of like mini documentaries or something like that. And, that's going to be about it, nothing else. And I think, honestly, this is a good move because, a lot of people are comparing this to being the second coming of Cartoon Network and the second coming of Boomerang and how they used to be promoted when they originally started. And I don't blame people for making that comparison because if there was one thing that attracted people to those networks was the promise of classic cartoons. Now, Boomerang as a streaming platform right now, and somewhat still as a channel, they still have classic cartoons. Don't get me wrong, but the thing is, they're becoming more like a hybrid of them of what they were as to what Cartoon Network is. So obviously, what Regular Broadcasting is doing here with Warner Brothers, Walter Lantz, and all these other places I've mentioned outside of Disney, what they're doing is they're saying, hey, they're saying, hey, people still like the classic cartoons they grew up with over the past 50, 60, 70 years. Why not bring that back to the forefront? Because they're realizing there's still an audience. There's still an audience that wants to see this stuff. There's still an audience that wants to have access to this stuff outside of, you know, outside of buying, if I can get it here without making a mess, outside of buying, Blu-rays or DVDs that might have them, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. Keeps physical media alive, and I'll get into that in the second topic. But basically, it allows people to finally do something they've never done before, or haven't done in a long time, and that's dust off the old VCR, if you will, or dust off the old DVD or Blu-ray recorder if they have a Blu-ray recorder. Insert a DVD plus R or minus R, DVD plus R or DVD dash R, or a Blu-ray plus R or Blu-ray dash R, or get a blank VHS if they still sell them, and there you go. Go back to doing what they used to do. And send a message that, hey, physical media still means something to us because look what we're doing with it. If they can, and which I think they will. But yeah, it's this but yeah, to hear that this is going to be happening, I think it's a good move. It's a good move mainly because of the fact that it allows people to basically watch cartoons that they haven't seen in years, decades, and some cartoons they may or may not have heard of. I mean, Andre Meadows of Black Nerd Comedy, when he was talking about it, he said he had to look up, what one of the cartoons was going to be, only to find out it's one of those celebrity-based cartoons, the Abbott and Costello cartoons. So to have a network dedicated to bringing those kind of cartoons, along with others we may have known of or not known of, I think is great. And they're not just going to be doing, cartoons of the 30-minute, hour variety. They're going to do animated movies based on these tunes. I mean, Gulliver's Travels, that's going to be on there, I believe. Well, it should be. You're going to see cartoon movies, based on characters that you didn't even think, had movies. So that's going to be kind of cool to see. it's going to be kind of cool to see. And for me, being someone that grew up on some of these cartoons, I'm going to be happy to see them back on over-the-air television where they're meant to be. And honestly, when I look, at this, I stick by what I said before. I think honestly, this is going to be the start of a revolution. It's going to be a start of a resurrection, a revolution, and a resurgence, in animation interest, and it's going to get a lot of the big broadcast networks like NBC, like CBS, ABC, Fox to an extent, and the CW to be like, oh, there's still an interest in cartoons, mostly Saturday morning cartoons. Hey, maybe we should dive back into the Saturday morning, genre. And I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. Give it a year or two, and you're going to honestly start seeing people talking about, not people, but news outlets talking about all these major networks going like, oh, maybe we should bring back Saturday morning cartoons. Because guess what? They're going to see the ratings going up, mostly on Saturday mornings with this 24/7 station, this 24/7 station. They're going to see that, and they're going to be like, oh, maybe there is a market for that. Maybe we should look into that. And before you know it, you're going to start seeing reports that, ABC's reviving, resurrecting Saturday morning cartoons, just like you like them. Or you're going to see the same kind of thing about NBC or CBS. I guarantee you it's going to happen. It may not be, within the next 6 months, may not be within the next year, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I know it, and you know it. And half the world knows it, that it's going to happen, and it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Because, as I said before in a previous video, you do not, if you do not think that, a lot of the big wigs at these networks of ABC, CBS, NBC, CW, and Fox, if you do not think they're not noticing this happening, and this being a big deal, and everybody talking about it, I should say, with reverence, if you do not think they're not taking notice, you're wrong, because they are taking notice, and they're taking notice in a big, big, major way. They are taking notice in a big, big, major way. And sooner or later, they're going to start considering bringing back Saturday morning cartoons, with either classic tunes or maybe talking to the likes of Cartoon Network and Disney and saying, let's get your stuff and put it on Saturday mornings. I guarantee you, that will happen. And to me, that's why I look at this MeTV Toons deal as a massive, massive win. And I can't say any more than that. I can't say any more than what I've said before, and I can't say any more than what others have said. So, to me, this is big. This is huge. And I guarantee you, June 25th, I guarantee you, the ratings for that station, when it gets developed, or when it debuts, going to go right through the roof. And that's a promise. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Once again, on MeTV Toons heading to over-the-air broadcast television, as well as some digital ad-supported streaming services. But now, with that said, let's go on to number 2 here. And let's talk about physical media will not die. And to tie into what I said previously, one example of that is people basically, if they have DVD recorders or VHSs they're going to dust off, or Blu-ray recorders, they're going to get things like this, dust this off, and they're going to say, time to go to work. Because they're going to be recording hours after hours of their favorite shows onto DVD. Because they're going to memorize the times those shows come on, and they're going to put them onto DVD. And that's one reason why physical media will not die. Another reason is because you're going to have too many people complaining that they're not seeing too much physical media anymore. Now, some people might say, well, it's only DVD that's not going to be sold anymore. Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray is going to be fine. That's true. But here's the thing. DVD is still essential. It's still essential because of the fact that sometimes if you have a portable device, that plays physical disc media, all it's going to really play is DVD, if that's all you can have or you can afford. So to me, over time, physical media is going to find that resurgence. It's going to find that resurgence. Either it's through online ordering through the likes of Amazon or whatever other online stores, it's going to have a resurgence. And thus it's going to show you that it will not die. It will not die, period. I mean, yes, look, digital releases are beneficial. I'm not going to deny that. But one of the things digital platforms always tell you to do, one of the things digital platforms always tell you to do, and I'll show you this right now if I can bring it up. One of the things they always tell you to do is download. That's what it tells you to do. It tells you to download what you want to watch, right? It tells you to download what you want to watch. I mean, for example, this is the downloads thing for the Max app. Why would they have that on there for you? They would have that on for you so you can watch a movie offline. What's physical media for? Same thing, offline. So you see, there's going to be many benefits to physical media. The only reason digital is being promoted as much as it is because of the fact that there's still software out there that allows people to copy and DVD rip and burn, if not Blu-ray rip and burn or 4K Blu-ray Ultra Blu-ray rip and burn. There's still software out there that allows you to do that, to take a movie that you might rent, and who rents anymore anyway, but still allow you to do that and put it onto a physical disc. And they don't want that. That's why they're promoting digital media, a lot more than physical media. And yeah, there is a convenience, don't get me wrong. But sooner or later, people are going to notice that digital media is not the be all end all, okay? Because what happens if the power goes out? Yeah, you got a lot of, cable companies like Comcast and Cox, and that's COX, by the way, Cox, and others that are now promoting storm, basically Wi-Fi that still operates even when the power goes out. Newsflash, how are you going to have power for your Wi-Fi if the power goes out? I'm just saying. But still, they're promoting that. Just because they want people to focus more on digital media. And again, I don't blame them. But still, physical media is never going to go away. It's never. You're going to have a lot of these mom and pop shops, out there. You're going to have a lot of these mom and pop shops, a lot of these up and coming shops, that are entertainment based, that are still going to sell physical media. And a lot of people have to come to realize that no matter how you look at it, physical media is still going to have a place in the world. It still is. People are going to look at Oppenheimer selling the way it did and say, there's your example. So to me, no matter how you look at it, physical media will not die. It will not die, period. End of discussion. It will not die. And I think a lot of people have to come to that realization. You're going to have a lot of these other smaller online stores selling, media of the physical kind because they know people want it. So it will not die. So, to me, I get that digital media is a lot more convenient sometimes, even if you download it. But still, physical media is always going to have a place. It always will, because there's going to be some movies and programs that will not be able to be, that will not be able to see the light of day through digital media or streaming platforms, that only will see the light of day through physical media and platforms. And that's it. And a lot of studios, I think, are now realizing that. I mean, yes, they are saying, hey, here's this movie on digital media. They're promoting that first, but soon they're going to have it on Blu ray and DVD and 4K in the near future, because they know that still sells and that still turns a profit. And you can't tell me that a lot of the studios and the celebrities that rely on those residuals based on physical media aren't going to fight for that to stay around, because they are. So to me, physical media, it's not going to die no matter how people look at it and no matter how people say, oh, the days are numbers, because it's not. It's still going to have a place in the world no matter how you view it. So it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. People could say that within the next 7 years it's going to be gone, but I've got a feeling in the next 7 years it's going to have a major resurgence and it's going to be more popular than it's ever been. That's a guarantee. So to me, it's not going to die. Now, on to topic number 3. First episodes of Transformers Generation 1 to hit theaters tomorrow, May 15th. This Saturday, May 18th, and this Sunday, May 19th. Now, the showings, the times for the showings, no matter where you're at, if it's close to you or you have to drive, tomorrow night the showings will be at 7 o'clock local time. So 7 o'clock local time on Wednesday, May 15th. If you're planning to go, that's the times. But on Saturday, May 18th and Sunday, May 19th, they will be at noon local time, which is basically after church. If you're going to church, but then planning to go see the first 4 episodes of Transformers Generation 1 on the big screen, it will be on May 18th and May 19th, which is Saturday and Sunday, at noon local time. And these first episodes are More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, and the episode Transport to Oblivion, which can kind of serve as More Than Meets the Eye Part 4. So those are the episodes that'll be on the big screen for Transformers Generation 1. It's, of course, to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the series itself. It will have a special on-screen table reading with the voices of the Transformers, like Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, and many others, as well as some people that work behind the scenes. It will have an on-screen table reading to go along with it, and that would be something I would love to go and see, but unfortunately it's not playing anywhere near me as I speak. It's not playing near me at the Regal Theaters in Turlock, but it is playing in Stockton and in Sacramento and in San Jose, at those areas. So if you live in those regions, go and check them out on the big screen. Again, it's the first three. It's the three-parter pilot, More Than Meets the Eye. Followed up by Transport to Oblivion, which kind of serves as the epilogue to More Than Meets the Eye, and sort of like Part 4 to More Than Meets the Eye. Then it's followed by an on-screen table reading by the voice of Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen, and the voice of Megatron, Frank Welker, along with some other people subbing in for voice actors and actresses that have passed on, as well as people that worked on the show behind the scenes. So that's something to look forward to. Unfortunately, again, I can't see it, but I can see it through YouTube. So the Hasbro Pulse YouTube channel, as well as watch it off my DVDs that I do have. So I have many ways of doing it, and I'm sure a lot of people that can't be in the vicinity of the theater showing it will probably do the same thing. So my recommendation is, if you were planning to see the 7 o'clock showings locally when they come out tomorrow, and if you can't, my suggestion, go to the Hasbro Pulse YouTube channel, watch the first 4 episodes there at the same time, and I guarantee you they might have, not right away, but I guarantee you down the line they'll probably have the table reading uploaded on there before you know it. But I would do that, or I would put on the DVDs and watch it from there as well. But yeah, I think this is a great thing they're doing. It definitely shows the impact Transformers has had. So if you're interested in it, go and enjoy yourself. They are going to have some special popcorn buckets and cups to, soda cups, if you will, to, get your popcorn and your soda drink in to watch it. And my computer is loading right now. I do not know why it's loading. It was loading right there for a second. But yeah, they will have that available if you guys are interested. But again, I think this is tremendous. I think this is a great move that Hasbro is doing in correlation with the people behind it, and maybe this might open the door for a lot of other Hasbro properties to that have either finales or pilots that they could put on the big screen to help celebrate the impact they have had. Heck, I've talked about the fact that if they want to, they could go and get Friendship is Magic and put the three-parter, if you will, the three-part finale on the big screen and treat it like an actual movie as it was kind of treated as when it premiered a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, believe it or not, or almost 5 years ago. But anyway, though, I just wanted to come out here and just wanted to come out and talk about that as as the third topic, I should say. And let me know let me know in the live chat, as well as let me know in the comments below. By the way, super chats are open if you want to help donate. That would be greatly appreciated. But anyway, let me know in the comments as well as in the live chat if you're planning to go see this on the big screen tomorrow night or this weekend, or if you're planning to maybe just YouTube it, at the times they're going to be broadcast or showed on the theaters, in the theaters, I should say. Let me know, and really that's all I could say about it. But yeah, I think it's a great move that they're doing. You don't see this every day, or if not every year or month. So I think it's a great move they're doing. And again, it's to me, it could open the door. It could open the door for a lot of other shows to have their finales or pilots, put onto the big screen, as one big, showcase, if you will. So can't wait for that. So just can't wait to see the reactions, I should say, to people seeing it on the big screen. Obviously, you're going to get those reactions here on the tube and social media. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's move on to topic number four. Topic number four: the NBA returning to NBC in the fall, and what it can mean for AEW. So yes, once again, you'll get that da 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 theme for the NBA on NBC. You know they're gonna play that. You know they're gonna play that and everything. Now that it's back on basically the National Broadcast Corporation or part of the National Broadcast Corporation. So again, you're gonna get that da 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 da. You're gonna get that. So it's gonna be really cool to see. Hopefully that doesn't get copyrighted and all that. But now the question is going to be, what does this mean for AEW? Well, some people might say that it's good news for AEW. It frees up a little bit more money by Warner Brothers Discovery to use on programming like AEW, and to bring them to bring them, or not bring them, but to keep them on their networks and give them more financial backing down the line. But surprisingly, from what I've heard online, um, things may not be so rosy, if you will, because from what's being reported, you got the upcoming NYC media meetings, media outlets meetings, and all that. And apparently, WBD is not going to bring up AEW. And if you believe that report, that's not a good sign. Because here you have, according to Tony Khan and several other people, the WBD is happy with the ratings, but you have to ask, if they're happy with the ratings, then why aren't they going to want to talk about you or bring you up at the media outrights in New York? So something doesn't feel connective, if you will, in that perspective, in my opinion. Something doesn't feel like, something's not like, connecting correctly. So either Tony Khan and his team are lying about the WBD being happy, or they are, or the WBD is happy. It's just AEW is not a top priority for them right now. I mean, they just lost the NBA. They still have the NHL, I think, for the time being, but they've lost the NBA. So, what do they do in the process? What do they do in the process, huh? And some ads will be coming up, guys, in just a little bit, so I do apologize for that. But what do they do in the process, huh? What do they do in the process? My opinion, is, what do they do in the process now that they lost the NBA? Well, they still have Major League Baseball. Like I said, they still have the NHL for the time being. Um, so I think, honestly, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking they're going to go after, the NFL. I really do. I think they're going to try to stick their toes into the NFL as well as stick their toes into college football. I really do. I mean, they have the NCAA, so why not the NCAA tournament? And hold on for a second. Let these ads play if you're watching them. Okay, we should be good to go. We should be good to go here. All right, we should be good. Now, like I said, I think honestly, the WBD, making sure these ads fulfilled the obligation, but I think the WBD, in my opinion, is probably going to stick their toe into the NFL as well as into college football. Now, why do I say that? Well, believe it or not, in the past, TBS used to have college football in the form of the Copper Bowl. Yeah, that was one of the college football games they would broadcast. So I would not be surprised if they try to stick their toe into college football and the NFL. So I think that's what's going to happen. They lose the NBA. They're probably going to be losing the NHL. I would not be surprised if they end up, trying to, get a distributing deal for the NFL. Like the NFL will stay on Fox, they'll stay on CBS, they'll stay on NBC and ABC and ESPN, but they'll probably want to stick their toe into it and maybe try to collab with maybe Amazon Prime for the Thursday night games. I would not be surprised. Excuse me, and you shouldn't be either. You shouldn't be either. So I'm not going to put it past them. I'm not going to put it past them to do something like that. But again, if AEW was a priority, if they were so happy with the ratings and everything, then why aren't they wanting to talk about them at these media outlet in New York? Why not? To me, something like I said, something's not connecting. Since somebody's not on the up and up here, if you know what I mean. When it comes to the truth, like the truth is somewhere in the middle. We just don't know what it is yet. But as the old saying goes, the truth is going to come out. The truth is going to come out, and it's not going to look good for Tony Khan and or his team at AEW if the truth comes out that WBD is not really happy with them. You know, and if that becomes a reality, Tony Khan, he better start shopping AEW around to other networks, or just basically go and be a YouTube only program for the time being, or basically just say, okay, fine, I'm going to close up shop. I tried. I'll close up shop, sell my assets to somebody else, and you guys, you men and women, are free to go where you want to go. Hopefully hopefully that doesn't happen. And Tony Khan is stubborn enough to not make it happen. But again, if the truth comes out that he's not being honest, then I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for AEW. I don't know what the future holds. I mean, NBC getting the NBA back, that's a huge deal, and that's a huge blow to, to WBD, you know. And if Tony Khan's thinking, oh, well, my AEW is going to pick up the slack, he's dead wrong. He's dead wrong because he's got to look at this. There's a possibility that the CW could end up putting NXT up back on Wednesday nights. And with WWE as hard as it is right now, and the CW being an over-the-air, broadcast network, that's not good for Tony Khan. And on top of that, what if the NBA decides, to do Wednesday night games on NBC? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So to me, the future right now is up in the air for Tony Khan. It's up in the air for him, and he better pray that the WBD, David Zaslav, and his team reconsider and actually make AEW a priority to talk about at these media outlet meetings in New York. He better pray and hope that happens, because if not, the outlook doesn't look good for AEW. It doesn't. So if I'm Tony Khan, I pray, and I pray hard. But yeah, if you're a fan of the NBA being on NBC and hearing that old do 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 jingle, you're gonna get your wish again starting this fall. All right, up to number 5 on our topics: the X-Men season finale and why I stick by what I said before. Now, I talked about in a video before I went on my little break. I talked about basically, well, it wasn't a break off of YouTube, but my little break from California, if you know what I mean, to see my dad. But as I said in the previous video, I think what's going to happen here in the finale, and I could be wrong, but my speculation is, because when you look at the fact you have Rogue siding with Magneto and Sunspot siding with Magneto, it's like, yeah, Marvel, are you trying to upset fans? When it comes to Rogue? Are you trying to upset fans when it comes to Rogue? It's like, that doesn't make sense. I mean, storyline wise, you might say, well, she's just acting out of anger. Okay, fine. Fine. We get that. But fans are not going to be too thrilled if you make her go full on evil. They're not. Because you're going in reverse, is what you're doing. And my opinion is this: I still stick by the fact that either Charles Xavier is going to do what he doesn't want to do, and that's basically erase everybody's mind about the events that have occurred, so that way they have no clue about what happened, and they just, end up being the way they were previously. Or he convinces Cable, or Jean convinces Cable, to go back in time, save his mom, Madeline Pryor, save Gambit, save Genosha, and then basically bring them up to the present, so that way Rogue sees Gambit, and she realizes, oh, he's back, and then realizes Magneto's been using her the entire time. Or she convinces Cable to go back in time and stop Gyrick from doing what he's about to do to the Professor, and thus, by preventing that from happening, keeps things from being set in motion. Or at least certain things, anyway. But to me, I believe that's the direction they're heading in. That's what I truly believe. A lot of people, they look at this, and yeah, you're up in the ante. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, what is going on here, huh? What the hell, huh? I mean, let's take a look. Let's take a look at. Let me see if I have it here. Let me see if I have it. Ah, here it is. Let's take a look at this. Does anybody remember what happens at the end here? Does anybody remember what happens at the end? The events of Last Stand get erased. That's right. The events of this movie get erased. They never happened. And why? Because Logan went back in time and prevented it from happening. And I think we're going to get something like that here. To where it's either Cable, Bishop, or something's going to happen to where the events we're seeing in season 1 will be altered. They will be changed to where basically this season of X-Men 97 will be like it happened, but it didn't happen. That's what I feel they're going to do. That's what I feel they're going to do. Now, you could disagree and say, well, they wouldn't do that because they'd upset the fans. Look, I get upsetting the fans, is a major issue. Would be a major issue. But fans love certain things being the way they are. Cyclops died in Last Stand. Xavier somewhat died, but was revived at the end, during and at the end of Last Stand. Do you not get what I'm saying? Do you not get what I'm saying? A lot of the things that happened after that led us into Days of Future Past, at the end of the Wolverine movie, and into Days of Future Past, a lot of what happened there, ceased to be. So it would not be the first time they do this. It would not be the first time they do this, and a lot of people know this, and I think a lot of people are preparing for that. But you're getting basically here, in my opinion, is a what-if scenario. That's what you're getting. You're getting a what-if scenario when it comes to this. Now, like I said, could I be wrong? Absolutely. I could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong about what's going on. And if they decide to go in this direction, fine. But I don't see something like Rogue being on the side of evil and everything for that long. I see her basically being on the side of evil until at least midway second season. That's what I see. I don't see it being, any further than that. I don't. But we'll have to see. We'll find out tonight at midnight local time. Midnight for me is in the next 6.5 hours. For some of you, midnight's in the next 4 hours or 3.5 hours. But the point is, we'll find out then whether or not, what we saw here is going to continue on into season 2. But I have a feeling something's going to happen to where things are going to be altered. And some of the things we've seen from season 1, if not even at the end of the final season in the original show, I think some of that's going to cease to be. It just feels like we're heading in that direction. It feels like we are. But we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens. But my opinion is either you're going to have Xavier use his power to erase the memories, lock away the memories of what's happened in the minds of Rogue, Magneto, and Sunspot and others. Or you're going to have Cable, at the behest of Xavier or the behest of Jean, go back in time, and either stop Gyrick from trying to kill Xavier, in the finale of the original show, or stop Genosha from being blown to smithereens and save the likes of Gambit and Madeline Pryor. You're either going to get one of those 3 scenarios happening, if not maybe both at once. I would not be surprised if that happens. And again, could I be absolutely wrong? Possibly, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll be wrong. And people like the Cosmic Wonder and others that are predicting and trying to theorize where we're going to go next, they don't know what's going to happen. They're just basing things off what they've read in the comics and what they're seeing here. So they don't know what's going to happen yet. Marvelous Videos doesn't know what's going to happen yet. So in my opinion, what happens in this finale is either going to be, exactly or close to what I'm thinking, or it's going to be a hybrid of what I'm thinking and what Cosmics and Marvelous and all the other people that are theorizing and speculating are thinking. It's going to be either a hodgepodge, if you will, or it's going to be basically, what I'm believing it's going to be. Because again, you cannot have something like this and, have fans be upset. Ed, if you know what I mean. You can't have something like this. And have fans be upset, at, you know, you can't have fans be upset about, what you're doing. You can't. You can't have fans, you know, uh, be upset about what you're doing and everything. Because if you don't want to lose the plot, as the old saying goes, you don't want to lose the plot, then you need to basically, you need to basically, um, you gotta do more. That's what you gotta do. You gotta do more. You gotta do stuff that's going to, make people happy. You gotta do things that will not upset them. And we'll just, like I said, we'll just have to wait and see, exactly what they got planned tonight, or at midnight, at least local time. Because to me, whatever they do, it's going to get people talking no matter what. It's already got people talking even now. It's got people talking already even now. And that's saying something. That's saying something honestly. That's saying something without a shadow of a doubt. That is saying something. You know, and like I said, maybe it'll be a hodgepodge of what a lot of people are predicting. We don't know. We don't know. But I guarantee you this. I guarantee you this. And I was just putting some shopping here. I was just tagging some of the things you can shop for on my channel. But I can tell you this honestly. If you keep Rogue evil, fans are not going to like it. She's a fan favorite. Not just for me, but for everybody. You keep her evil, fans are not going to like it. I can see them doing a storyline with her next season to where if she does go back to the X-Men at the end of the finale, you're going to have a storyline next season where she has to basically redeem herself. She has to build herself back up. She has to rebuild the trust she has with the professor, to where, because that's what I see. I see a trust factor going into where her and Cyclops and others, they're going to have to, the professor's going to have to win back their trust. Like, okay, trust me. I'm going, I know I did you wrong, but I'm going to get you to trust me. So I think that's what we might see as well. We might see as well. But again, we'll have to just wait and see what they got planned. But my opinion, honestly, my opinion is I think what we're going to get, is either Xavier using his full power to erase the events of what's happened from everybody's mind so they don't remember and things could go back to basically square one, or he or Jean is going to pursue or convince Cable to go back in time and do the right thing and either save Xavier from being killed by Gyrick. And hold on for a sec, that's my mom. Hello? Sorry about that. That was my mom calling again. Apparently, she was on the phone with her friend, and she hasn't gotten on to the Altamont yet. So yeah, she's gonna be a little later than usual. Gives me a little bit more time to finish this up. But anyway, like I said, I believe it's gonna go either way. I think it's gonna, excuse me, in my opinion, it's gonna go either, time being reset, you know, um, by Cable. Basically, things, being, altered. Basically, things not happening because it feels like we're heading in that direction. It just does. It just feels like we're heading in that direction. No matter how you look at it. Because again, some people might say that, they're going to do this to change things up. And look, if they do that, that's fine. That's fine if they want to do that, but again, some of these decisions are not going to sit well with fans. They're not. Fans are not going to be thrilled if you keep, Rogue, a villain. At least siding with somebody that she thinks is doing the right thing, but they're not. You know, so to me, I think honestly, we're going to find out the truth. Um, we're gonna well not find out the truth, but we're gonna get our answer by at midnight local time when we all see it. We're gonna get our answer, and I guarantee you, whatever that answer is going to be, it's gonna get people talking up until the second season. And I've got a feeling I've got a feeling it might even get some backlash. I just get this feeling because Marvel apparently, no matter what they present, Marvel apparently has had a reputation as of late to basically disappoint fans. Make decisions that get fans upset. So we'll see what they do, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. But it's going to be interesting when the episode premieres, and it's going to be a huge talking point. Afterwards, there's no doubt. It's going to be a huge talking point with the people like Angry Joe and his crew. It's going to be a talking point with Comic Book Cast, 2, the Cosmic Wonder, Screen Crush, Channel Awesome, you name it. Marvelous Videos. They're going to be talking about this, and they're going to be talking about it for a long time. That's just my opinion. But anyway, that's just my thoughts on the fifth topic here. And now on to the on to the sixth and last topic. And that is Sonic SatAM is trending on Twitter/X.com. But why? And could it be good news? Yes, apparently SatAM, Sonic SatAM, is been trending over the past several days on Twitter, and a lot of fans are looking at this like it's a good sign. And honestly, I think it is too. But what I was thinking about when I heard about this is it's trending for a reason. It's trending because of me, in my opinion, MeTV Toons. Yeah, because we know what they're initially going to be bringing out, right? What they're advertising plus more. Well, if they're saying they're going to be what Cartoon Network originally was, but 100 times better, 100 times more, and but 100. What? How did the guy put it? They're going to be they're going to be like what Cartoon Network was, but times 100 and on steroids. So if they're going to back that up, then that means they're going to have cartoons after cartoons after cartoons of any kind that have not seen the light of day in a while on over the air or national broadcast or whatever. So in my opinion, I think the reason SatAM is trending is because a lot of fans are looking at the fact that Inspector Gadget, which is a wild brain geek entertainment show, is going to be part of this. And if a wild brain show like Inspector Gadget and Heathcliff are going to be part of this, then it only makes sense that a show also under the wild brain umbrella, Sonic SatAM, gets treated as well with the same opportunity. So I think that's why Sonic SatAM is trending. I think it's mainly due to the fact that fans are hoping and praying that it becomes part of MeTV Toons. And you know what? I hope so too. Because if you put Sonic the Hedgehog as part of your lineup, and Sonic is in a big resurgence right now to the point that the trailer for the third movie is supposedly, at least the teaser trailer, is supposedly dropping this week, this Thursday, from what I understand. Then what better way to really build off that momentum or capitalize off that momentum than to have three of the popular wild brain Sonic animated shows as part of your lineup? I'm just saying. I think honestly that to me would be huge. Absolutely huge, no matter how you look at it. No matter how you look at it, I think that would be absolutely huge. And we got some ads for some viewers getting ready to pop up, so I do apologize. But I think it would be absolutely huge for for MeTV Tunes to gain access and distribute access and distribution easy for me to say, access and distribution to that show. And it's not the only show either. It's not the only show as these ads pop up. I do apologize. Just wait a few moments. But yeah, I think I think it'd be a huge deal. I think it'd be a huge deal as we wait a few moments. Let me get some water here. But yeah, I think it'd be a huge, huge deal. But anyway, like I said, I think we're back from breaks now, hopefully. But as I said, them gaining access and distributing and being the distributors, if you will, for this, I think would be huge. Because not only would you have a popular show in Inspector Gadget and Heathcliff as a part of it, but now you have Sonic, maybe Sonic Underground, Adventures. I mean, you have basically an hour and a half worth of Sonic programming you could do as a block. And you can't tell me they won't do something like that. But you also have shows like SWAT Cats and maybe Road Rovers and all that fans would love to see, would hope and love to see on MeTV Tunes as well. But to me, again, I think the reason Sonic Satayam is trending is mainly because of MeTV Tunes. I think that's the reason, and I think it's because they want and hope to see it is a part of this mega conglomerate, gigantic, enormous, gargantuan, galactic like lineup of cartoons. I think that's what they're hoping for, and I have a feeling they're going to get it. I really do. But I also think it trending is to send a message to the people. Excuse me, to the people behind me. Excuse me again, to the people behind MeTV Tunes. And that message is, hey, you got Wild Brains Inspector Gadget, Wild Brains Heathcliff, and other shows by Wild Brain or distributed by Wild Brain. Sonic is another one. Bring them in. And I think that's why it's trending as well. To send a message to get Sonic as part of the MeTV Tunes lineup. But yeah, I believe that's why it's trending. Either it's that or another reason, whatever it could be, it shows you that Sonic Satayam, is still alive and well no matter how you view it. It might even have something to do with Ian's Sonic project that he's doing, but whatever that is, we don't know. We don't know. But I think it's mostly due to the fact that MeTV is launching MeTV Tunes, and fans want it as a part of that. And honestly, I don't blame them, because now not only would you have Paramount Plus as a place to watch it, not only would you have YouTube to watch it, especially in 1080p, but now you would also have it on MeTV Tunes. And that, I think, would be, again, a huge win, a very huge win, because MeTV Tunes could have access to the three geek Wild Brain entertainment shows, and do an hour and a half block on them. They could. And heck, if they can get the licensing distributing for Sonic X, you could have a 2-hour block of Sonic. Adventures, Satayam, Underground, X. There you go. And I think fans would be appreciative of that. I really do. But anyway, that's what I think. That's what I believe. Oh, that's why I should say why. Excuse me. That's why I believe Sonic Satayam is trending on Twitter, because fans want to see it on MeTV Tunes. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the sixth and final topic. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this Topics on My Mind live stream, the first one in a while, and the first one since I've been back from my little trip to Kansas to see my dad. Sorry for the interruptions a little bit with the phone. I do apologize for that, as well as the interruption of getting up and seeing what was going on outside. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys, in the live comment section down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on some of the topics here. They will be chapterized later on, so you guys can check them out when you want to see them. Basically, what sections, I should say, you want to see and find more interesting. But let me know what your thoughts are overall. Comment below. Super chats were open. Super thanks are open because once again I am monetizing. Thank you. Apparently, it seems that you can't do uh, Mortal Kombat games anymore, if you will. You can't do the Mortal Kombat stuff anymore, which would explain why I'm seeing less and less of the violent M-rated Mortal Kombat games and games on YouTube. I guess that goes against protocol. But hey, what are you gonna do? You want to monetize, you got to follow the rules. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on some of the topics I've had to talk about here on the YT. Love to hear from you guys. Again, super thanks are open, also open, as well as there is items you could look at, shop at, click on, not just from my store, but from various stores as well that you might find interesting. But again, that's all I can really say, guys. And let me know what your thoughts are overall, like I said, on some of these topics. What are your thoughts on Transformers G1 going to theaters? NBA back on NBC, and all that. Let me know what your thoughts are. And until then, guys, I will talk to you all later. You all have a good